Hello everyone. Sorry I could not upload the videos, or I was unable to record the live session as I promised due to some personal reason. Uh, Hopefully you will understand me. But from today I will try to upload regular videos. If not every day, I will try to upload in a regular manner. So as you have known by the title of the live class, I am not going to discuss about poetry section. One of my students requested that I should do live class on the English novel part. If you have any other suggestion, please let me know. Generally what happen is I will try to do live classes regularly. Generally it happens that when I am teaching, generally I teach in high secondary section more often. So in high secondary section I can teach you without even studying, but in the degree level one have to study for teaching the material, so it takes some time. So kindly, if you can understand, so if you share my videos and also let your friends also know that in this channel English classes of our English honors is going on, so kindly subscribe. And I think if they subscribes more and if I get the response, I think I will be more inclined to do the videos regularly. Anyway, let's not get very into there. So you don't have to go out of your work, out of your study zone to help me promote my videos, but if you can share between your friends, it will be very helpful. So let us start by getting into the details of English novel. I'll do the videos in 2 or 3 parts, because otherwise the video becomes very long and it may be very difficult for you also, and also the quality of the videos also gets somewhat diminished. Okay, now the English novel or novel, as you know, is actually the first purely democratic way of expression or democratic way of literature that was produced, and it was probably the first type of modern literature. After that came the short stories, but before that novel was the first modern type of literature which was started, and it started in England mainly. The first novel actually written, there are many controversies, right? There are many people who don't totally agree, but many people categorize Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe as a novel. Some people just label it as an adventure story. So you cannot say it 100% that it was a novel. The first true novel was Pamela, written by I think it was written by Richardson. Okay, now before going, how did novel started, or when was it that it started? in both Andrew Sanders and William J. Long, if you read the story, basically the topics that you have been allowed, that you have been asked to read in this paper are very diverse, but you have to follow two books for that. One is M.H. Abram, a glossary terms, a history of literary terms, I think, and the other one is you have to study, you have to also with simultaneously study an history book of English literature. It can be Andrew Sanders, it can be William J. Long, whichever you find good or whichever you find helpful, please try that book. Now the problem with so many diverse terms is that you have to go from one place to another and may have to jump from one place to another. English novel or the novel part in literature started in the 17th and 18th century, mainly in the 18th century, and if we see and if we read about English literature in the novel part, we'll know that it was not something which was totally unique. It was not something which suddenly came out of the thin air. It was there, the narrative techniques were already there, the characters were already there, but the presentation was quite different. First, one of the first story, mainly in novel, what happened is there is a story which is told, sometimes from the first person narrative, sometimes from the second person narrative, sometimes from the third person narrative, and sometimes from the many point of view. Means in modern novel you can find it there can be 2 or 3 narrator, and as you probably will, I don't think you have already come across it, in Midnight Silence there are the narrator is omnipresent, at the same time he is some even first person narrative, and sometimes he is in third person narrative, and the problem is that in that narration that it is an unreliable narrator, means he sometimes lies within the story. So especially in historical facts he sometimes lies. So that was the mastery of Salman Rushdie again. So basically what I am trying to say is that in a novel a story is narrated, and whenever we hear that someone is reading a story, someone is reading a novel, we just ask only one question generally, so how is this story? Is it good or bad? If someone says it is one of the best story I have read, we will try to borrow that book or we will buy it from the bookstore. So, but if he says that the story is not so good, nobody will be interested. So mainly nobody is asking about the narrative technique, nobody is asking about the writer, everybody will ask about the story first, and after that someone will ask about the narrator. Narrator means author here. So even before novel there were prose, which tell story, which told stories, and before prose there were some poetry which were narrative in nature. So the early roots of novel can be found in the 14th century and in the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, where there were stories of pilgrims which were told, and it was told in or it was written in verse form. So it was stories written in verse. Then Sir Thomas Marlowe wrote one Le Morte d'Arthur in 1485. It was about the legend of King Arthur. And then there was another narrative story which was John Bunyan, The Pilgrim's Progress in 1678. So this was the first, we can say, it was written in 1678. By John Bunyan. So Pilgrim Progress by John Bunyan was one of the first narrative story which actually inspired the novel writing. And before that there were books like Utopia by Sir Thomas More, which was also in a way inspiration to modern novel. One other important factor which promoted the writing of novel was the Greek romances. The Greek romances. The Greek romances were in a way the inspiration of English novel. But the problem was that with time, the Greek romances, when it came to England, with time the English practicality came into effect, and the narration became more reliable. Means in Greek romances there were stories which were more like Harry Potter stories. Means it was unbelievable, it cannot happen, and the hero was powerful, very powerful, and other there was supernatural natural element. But when it came to England, the Greek romances in a way sensed, and whenever the English writer wrote, they did not go for the supernatural element. They were based on reality, and because there was reality, it wasn't the original Greek romances that the Greek writer wrote. In a way it was based on reality, at the same time it was also based on fiction. So both both of the thing were in a way refined it to novel writing. Other inspiration were Italian and Spanish Torel romances. These were also in a way inspiration for our novel writing. Then came the Spanish picaresque novel, and before that, one other thing was that Shakespeare wrote in the previous century, and he in a way democratically did some changes in the way people perceived as hero. According to the Greek tradition, Greek literature, only a king or a prince can be the hero, or a but in Shakespearean tragedies we can found that Othello, who was just a general, became the hero. In Hamlet, Hamlet was not really a prince. He was a prince, but he was not the king. Even after, if he would not have killed his uncle, he can never be the king. So in Macbeth, again, Macbeth was not a king, he was just a general. So Shakespeare reduced the criteria from king to some general, and general can be any common man also. If he was good at fighting, he can become a general. There was no way required that he should be born in a noble family. So after that, the main thing of the main part in which we can accept that the hero should be of noble birth, Shakespeare somewhat reduced the form that even if the person had good quality, he can become a hero. Now there is one other thing, that there was picaresque novel which was written in Spain and some other European languages also, Spain and Italian languages, mainly in Spanish picaresque novel. What happened is, in the picaresque novel, the hero is actually a rogue or a scoundrel or a bad person who somehow manages to acquire huge amount of money or acquire great success, and he become a hero. So it was kind of an unheard of thing. Before that, the hero should be of noble birth. Now his birth was not of required. In some cases, the hero's birth was not even known, that his father and mother are not really known in some cases. So this again inspired the English novelists, and they also wrote the early picaresque novel in English literature was The Unfortunate Traveler. Sorry. So this is another important piece of literature which inspired the modern novel writing, the Unfortunate Traveler, or The Life of Jack Wilton, which was written in 1594. This is believed to be the first picaresque novel in English literature. And after that, as we have discussed, Bunyan's The Pilgrim Progress, and there are other there was one poetry, Fairy Queen by Spenser, which was also in a way narrative poem, and these all things inspired in writing the novel. So in a way, when Daniel Defoe wrote Robinson Crusoe, it was not something which was very unique, which was never seen before, but it was also something which actually got shaped from all the other things which inspired or which influenced Daniel Defoe, and he ultimately wrote Robinson Crusoe, which is still very debated, is believed to be the first English novel. And generally, when we study, it is given as first English novel, but generally it is again very controversial. Pamela is regarded as the first truly pure English novel. Which was written by Samuel Richardson in 1740, and in 1719 Robinson Crusoe was published. In next class we will discuss about the various types of literature, various types of novel writing. So in next class we will discuss about various type of novel writing and the other forms of novel. Okay, so thank you.